स्थापितां येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वंशिगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजां सहागण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदं सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनो बन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कन्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पवनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसरि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
So, Hare Krishna. Today, once again, in this Srimad Bhagavatam class, we are concluding the chapter, Canto 3, chapter 2. We are doing today verse 33 and 34, and we are incredibly, really blessed to have His Grace from Darshi Prabhuji, who will once again guide us in deeper profound into these deep verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. And last time, we really had a very beautiful session with him. We touched on the various another's and demons like Putanas and how they are they can reflect or they are symbols of our daily lives, and really had some very interesting interaction afterwards, and we really appreciate that. And today we are now going to do Srimad Bhagavatam. So without much ado, I would like to hand it over to you, Prabhuji. Over to you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for inviting me again to share and to relish in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Shrimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna, and therefore it is all successful and all victorious. By regular hearing of Shrimad Bhagavatam, all that is troublesome to the heart is vanquished. Nashta prayashu avadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavate uttama shloki bhaktir bhavati nashtiki. So everything that is troublesome to the heart is at once vanquished, and pure love or pure bhakti of Krishna is established within the heart as an irrevocable fact. It's a very beautiful verse to think that simply by regularly attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, bhakti will be established in the heart, and this cannot be reversed. So there's no going back once Bhagavatam steals you away. So the last time we discussed various different qualities of the demons, and I just like to complete on that, and then we can go forward into today's verses. So there is the demon Agasura and the demon Kalia. I decided to group the two of them together because more or less the qualities that they represent are related. Just like good qualities are related, similarly, bad qualities are also related. For example, on the positive spectrum of qualities, enthusiasm and determination, those two qualities go together. And austerity and knowledge, those two qualities go together. So similarly, cruelty and maliciousness, they go together. And these are the qualities that Kalia and Agasura represent. So I'll start by talking about maliciousness. So, in my little research, when I looked into maliciousness, according to the English language, maliciousness means to intentionally with inflicting of pain on someone else. Now, this pain does not necessarily have to be physical because when we talk about inflicting pain on other people, immediately we've thought about like some physical violence. But more than anything, as devotees, the violence which we often commit is subtle, and that is caused by the tongue. Basically, our speech, how we speak to each other, and what we speak about. This, this is the most common form of violence that happens within our community and without. So we need to understand the importance that our words have. Our words can encourage people, and similarly, our words can discourage people from the path of devotional service. Our words can hurt people, and when we hurt people with our words, then automatically it becomes very difficult for us to progress in Krishna consciousness. So we understand that one of the pillars of religion is non-violence. We understand that all the regulative principles that we are following are dependent on particular pillars of truthfulness, non-violence, cleanliness, and austerity. Now, it is said in Kali Yuga that the only standing pillar is, can you guess? Truthfulness. So all those other pillars are practically almost all gone. We are remaining with only truthfulness. And it doesn't mean that the reason devotees do not partake in eating of meat. We don't eat meat because we would like to practice non-violence. So Srila Prabhupada has explained that non-violence or ahimsa, the word ahimsa, actually when translated means not to check the progressive life of any living entity. So it means as a devotee, we should not do anything that is going to check the progress of any living entity. Forget even about devotees. Any living entity, we should not do anything that will check the. As devotees, we must ask ourselves and be very honest with ourselves and think, are my words, this is an exercise which my spiritual master has once told us to do or tells us to do on a regular basis is to think, are my words showering flowers on people or are they showering stones and rocks on people? Because words are very heavy and words stick with people. We know people in English say that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. It's not true because we know that Dhruva Maharaj was so enraged by the words of his stepmother that he went to the forest at the age of 5, 6 years old. So we cannot we cannot minimize the power of words. So understanding that Kalia is a malicious person and she wanted to inflict pain on Krishna. She used physical whims, but as devotees, we find ourselves in certain situations where we may also be malicious, but we will not necessarily go and fight a devotee physically, which is the grossest of all offenses. But we may speak in such ways that will hurt a devotee. So this is something that a devotee must be very careful of, must be conscious of how they speak. The tongue is extremely powerful. And extremely, extremely ferocious. It's a double-edged sword. It can be used to do good. Hell, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I think we lost you for a moment, but we can hear
No,
you now.
sorry. I think the network is not good here. So, okay, what is the last thing that
The last thing that you said was the tongue is extremely ferocious, and then you.
hello?
Hare Krishna, yes. I can hear you now. The last thing that you talked about was the tongue is extremely
Sorry.
ferocious, and there's some difficulty. Yeah, that sound.
Okay. So I was saying that the first aspect of maliciousness is that one is intentionally inflicting harm on someone, and I've explained that this can be done physically or subtly. It's very easy to cause someone mental distress or mental harm. So that is something that, especially devotees, we should be mindful of. Now, the second aspect of maliciousness is being enjoying the suffering of others. So we might not necessarily do anything to a devotee or onlookers, but when now something bad happens to them, and like, yes, this person should suffer even more. They've been pretending how they're such a good devotee, but really they've been doing things behind our back or something like that. Just because we have some grudge towards them or we are envious towards them, then when they have some fall down or when they have an unfortunate event, then we feel some happiness. We enjoy that this person is going through some, fall down or infamy. And this is also maliciousness. And it is described that when one sees a devotee and is unhappy to see the devotee, that is an offense. So, what to speak of enjoying the suffering of another devotee? It's like the bottom of the barrel. It can't get worse than that. And we understand that we are all one family. Therefore, how can I be happy if my brother is going through a difficulty or if my brother is, really suffering? That is not the heart of a devotee. And we all know that we are under Srila Prabhupada. So, following in Srila Prabhupada's mood was that he was very compassionate and he always tried to help those who are suffering. So, we cannot then take pleasure in the suffering of a devotee, regardless of what they've done. So that's the second aspect you know, of maliciousness. Kaliya and Agasura, the demon, they represent cruelty and maliciousness. So we can now move to the next demon, who is called Pralambasura. Pralambasura represents lust, and he specifically lust of the opposite gender. So lust towards the opposite gender is known as the biggest knot, the most difficult knot to untie in the material world. So literally, it is like a knot. Like if someone takes a rope, ties it around, and then fastens it. That is the effect that lust has on our heart. So when someone is excessively attached to the opposite gender, the object of their senses, then what happens is there is no more room for Krishna, because lust for the opposite sex is synonymous with sense gratification. So when one is excessively attached to the opposite gender, then so many other things which are unfavorable for spiritual life follow this attachment. So it is explained in the in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that when a man becomes attached to, sorry, so it is explained that when a man is excessively attached to his wife, then he becomes attached to his home, he becomes attached to his own body, and it is quite obvious because like it's not just the man, it's both ways. Anytime in the Shrimad Bhagavatam when we hear they saying the man, it means the man or woman. So all of these principles apply. So if one is excessively attached to their partner, they become attached similarly to their physical body, because now you want to always look attractive for your partner, which is okay. But if someone becomes excessively obsessed with always looking attractive, then already automatically your consciousness has been contaminated. You're going to be on the bodily platform always. So one becomes attached to the physical body, one becomes attached to their home. The home is the center of all the sense gratification for those who are not controlled. And it is explained that when one becomes attached to the opposite gender, then they become attached to good eatables and sex life. So the tongue, belly, and genitals are in one line. So this means that the more one is able to control the tongue, the more they're able to control the belly, and the more they're able to control the genitals. They're going in a line. So in householder life, when one is uncontrolled, one eats ferociously, one eats extremely opulently, and these habits agitate the senses, especially the progenitor senses. Therefore, one will be engaged more in sex life. It's a very, very direct and straightforward science. So one becomes attached to their body, to their home, to their family, and to their land, where you've come from. One becomes excessively attached, like, very proud. I'm a Kenyan. This is where I'm from. My hometown is in such and such a place. And, they'll go on and do so many philanthropic things for that home place, which is okay. But the attachment is preventing realization of Krishna. That attachment is preventing someone from developing that real devotional service towards Krishna. Because when someone is excessively attached to something, it means that object of the senses is taking up most of their time, their emotions, their mental energy, and also their resources. So Krishna will always be getting leftovers. In as much as sometimes we think we're doing our best, if we look at it carefully, we're always giving Krishna remnants, Like I'll work very hard for my own sense gratification, and then whatever little hours I have, I'll read or I'll chant. But no, Krishna deserves the best, and Krishna cannot be given anything less. So, having that consciousness, the reverse would be, let me wake up very early so I can chant all my rounds in the morning when there'll be no disturbance, and that time I can have my personal time with you, Krishna. And hopefully, this will please you. That's a very different consciousness from um, I'll just chant whatever I can, then the rest of the rounds I'll finish them later. It's not the same thing. So, by having this excessive attachment for sex life or to the opposite gender, then one cannot have this determination for spiritual life. One cannot have this taste or this desire to have a personal relationship with Krishna and move forward in devotional service. So, another aspect of lust is the desire for adoration or the desire for praise, distinction. So many times we see for renunciates, we renounce a lot of things. We renounce family, we renounce riches, we renounce conjugal relationships, but we're still attached to distinction, still attached to adoration. We feel that after class, everyone should praise me, or people should understand my level. I'm a cut above the rest. This is also subtle sex desire because the center is for Krishna, and that never changes. When we want to have distinction, to be cut above the rest, to be recognized for our eloquence, for our beautiful singing, or for our knowledge, then that is also a subtle form of sex desire because we're seeking to be attractive to other people and lives of renunciates. The main binding force in this material world is kama, lust. And actually, the name for this material world is called Maiduna Agraha, which means the shackles of sex life. In other words, we are bound to the planet Earth by the desire for sex life, nothing else. If one can become free from this, then one can begin to surrender to Krishna. The minute one accepts to give up sense gratification, then the path to Krishna becomes much more enjoyable and much more clearer. So now we move on to the last demon, who is called Bakasura. Bakasura represents duplicity, deceptiveness, and having a facade, just giving off a certain picture. And this especially applies to us in Kali Yuga. Hypocrisy is our bread and butter. This is what we do all the time, you know. Especially on social media, you'll see people, you know, um, trying to paint a picture which is not really there. Maybe someone will take a picture holding a steering wheel showing that they're driving, but the car is not moving anywhere. It's not their car. They're maybe in their uncle's car or something like that. So we're always trying to paint a picture of opulence, of how things are going well, but that really isn't the case. So we're trying to paint a picture so that people can perceive us how we'd like them to see us. And devotees are not exempt from this. We all have at one point, for those of us who are conditioned, painted a picture so that we are not judged or misjudged. So, this deceptiveness or duplicity is very detrimental to devotional service. So, previously we spoke about the pillar of religion, which is ahimsa, which is mercifulness. And I actually forgot to mention, sorry, the reason that we should not be malicious and be very compassionate and merciful is because we ourselves need mercy at every point. So the more we are malicious, the more we are violent, the more we're cruel, the more we are disqualifying ourselves from getting mercy. And devotional service, advancement in devotional service is 100% dependent on the mercy of the devotees. So if we want to get mercy, we must give mercy. And this includes speaking in a way that is beneficial for everyone. So I'll go back now to Bakasura and its duplicity. This leads us to the pillar of religion that is truthfulness, honesty. If we're not truthful, how will we get help? If we cannot present ourselves truthfully to a trusted devotee who can help us, how will we get help? If we are not truthful to ourselves, how can we understand that we need help? Many times, we like to listen to the mind a lot, and the mind will create so many excuses. It will create so many Genesis stories as to how you develop these bad habits and why it's okay for you to continue holding on to them. The mind should be totally ignored because until we're not honest with ourselves, we're not going to be able to address those issues which are preventing us from entering into this sweet, loving relationships with Krishna and his pure devotees. So, the pillar of honesty will help us furthermore to develop the quality of humility. Because for us to be humble, we have to be honest with ourselves. To be honest with ourselves means we always have to reflect on how we are behaving. We always have to reflect, we always have to sit down with ourselves and think, this past week, what have I been doing? How have I been relating with the devotees? Is there anything that I'm holding on to? This practice should be done. And in the Bhagavad Gita, we all know the famous verse, where I get my name from. And the verse starts by saying, the introspective sage. So that word introspective means that the quality of a devotee is that they are introspective. They look inward. They are not always looking outward, looking at other people, discussing other people. It is looking inward. Sitting down with yourselves and having a, a serious needed meeting and thinking, okay, I can see here I've improved. Last week, I was talking a lot about mundane topics. This week, I'm talking more about Krishna. So, Krishna, please continue helping me to do this. And then inversely, you can say, okay, this week, I think I've been eating non prasad too often. I've been snacking here and there. And as a result, my consciousness is a little bit agitated. I'm not able to focus properly in japa. These are the these are the practices of a progressive devotee. One must be able to introspect and look at themselves clearly. So this once one is always continuously introspecting, then they'll understand I have so many faults, and they'll be able to look at their own faults before others. And this helps us to have the quality of humility. And this humility, like we spoke in our last session, without humility, it's impossible to chant because you'll constantly be thinking about this and that. But with humility, no matter what is happening, we can be able to chant. Kirtanya Sadahari will be able to chant 24/7. So, yeah, finally, if we are honest, if we have the principle of honesty, then we can practice what is called preaching to the mind, because the mind is always mischievous. The mind always wants to create unnecessary quarrels with other people and with ourselves. If we listen to our mind, the way we speak to ourselves is very important. So, back to that point of maliciousness. Now, a very rampant cause of low self esteem among devotees is the mental chatter that goes on in the brain, the things that we tell ourselves in the brain. Now, low self esteem comes from giving in into these things, when the brain starts telling you, the mind is telling you, oh, you're so hard, why the other people have tried, they failed, and what makes you think you're special, that you'll get mercy? This causes low self-esteem. How we talk to ourselves, what we're thinking in our mind, the mental chatter has a great effect on our self-esteem. And a devotee who has low self-esteem is not ready to be used by Krishna. So, as devotees, our self-esteem comes from our unflinching faith in Krishna. We understand that everything is coming from Krishna. He is full of all the potencies, and we are under his protection. So, therefore, why should he not help us? It's that simple. But when we let that mental chatter to go on in our mind, oh, I'm from this and this place, I can never become pure, then that causes low self esteem and we can never move forward. So one must preach to their own mind, and this also needs honesty. If you're able to introspect and be honest with yourself, you preach to yourself. The more you're reading, the more you're hearing, you preach to your mind. The minute you see your mind veering off, you're like, no, you have to control your senses now. We're not going to do this today. So that's the last point on in regards to the demons. So I think I'll open it up now for questions before we go into today's verses, because I've also prepared a different uh, whole theme and presentation for that. And I'm not sure if we'll have enough time for that right now. So I'll just open it up for questions right now if anyone has a question they'd like to ask.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that catch up for the previous class. Yeah, any comment from the assembled devotees?
Hey Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful class again. There are so many things again to learn today also. Like yes, and what you were saying about like don't expect praise. Like even though we are doing, we feel like we are doing Krishna, we are singing for Krishna, but at the end we want to like we might feel like, oh, people will appreciate because we did a good job with whatever we did. So that was very nicely
Mhm.
explained. Like that is also a subtle form of lust, which I was very like today I learned this new one, which is really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also about the Samadarshi, the introspective sage. Um, when so Samadarshi, your name you were talking about, and in Bhagavad Gita, it is Krishna says that introspective sage looks at everyone in the same way, like whether it is a sage or any animal or even
Yes.
that. Like, so that is what it is called, like Samadarshi, who is looking everybody in the same say similar manner, like not with the, oh, this person has riches, or this person is he is beautiful or she is beautiful, or any nothing matters to him. He just looks at the soul, which is the same in every person. So that is that one also you explained very nicely, Prabhuji, very nicely.
Yes.
Thank you so much for very,
Thank you.
very
Thank you for
nice.
sharing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. And also, yeah,
Right.
a lot of things today. Yes. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for your class. I got quite a lot from that, and the last one was the best one. Preaching to yourself. Actually, preaching to yourself is the key, I think, from your class, because we make a lot of mistakes day in day out. And if you try to preach yourself, just reflect on what you have done badly the previous day and try to improve every day, every single day. Read, like you say, chant. And very important, Prabhu, very important that you preach to yourself and realize what how you are purifying
Thank you very
yourself
much. Yeah.
on a daily basis. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. I also like what you've said about looking at how you can improve yourself every day, because sometimes as devotees we should make small steps which are sustainable, because we don't want to kill our enthusiasm. If today I'm chanting 8 rounds, I cannot say tomorrow I'll start chanting 32 rounds, because when I fail to chant 32 rounds, it will kill my enthusiasm. So, therefore, it is very important for devotees to make small steps, but They should be consistent and it should be well planned. So in business, we have the abbreviation which is SMART for setting goals. Stand for what does it stand for? Let me just check it real quick.
Smart, yeah,
Oh
Prabhu.
yeah, sorry. S stands for speak. So when you're setting a goal, you should be specific. If you say that this year you want to improve your consciousness, what aspects are those that you want to improve on a job? Okay, so then you have to specify that I want to improve my job. Now, M is stand for measurable. How can I measure that I'm actually improving my job? I can measure by what, and I can measure by also how long it's taking me, or I can measure by how my so job is my mind staying with me. Am I able to bring more now, or am I realizing after two my mind? That we're going to the measurable aspect because you have to review yourself. That's why we're talking about introspection. So it's not just about setting a goal, but you set a goal, and then you have to come back and see am I actually achieving this. Then A stands for achievable. So, like I said, setting a goal, it should be achievable such that our enthusiasm is not killed. So we have to set a goal which we are able to achieve within. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, what was the last letter that you had?
Achievable.
Achievable.
Achievable, yes. We don't want to kill our enthusiasm because enthusiasm is necessary for devotional service. In the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami explains that Utsahan, Nishchad, and Daryat are very important for progressive devotional service. That is enthusiasm, determination, and patience. So, on the concept of enthusiasm, it's linked to having achievable goals. So, for example, if I decide now I'm only going to eat once a day in the attempt to control my senses, but I have to look at my health, the state of my body. Can I be able to withstand that? Maybe I can't because I have diabetic issues. Then in that case, I will adjust. I'm only going to eat fruits in the morning or vegetables or a salad in the morning, and I will eat properly at lunchtime, and at night, I will only drink milk. This is how we set achievable goals. If right now I'm only able to read for 10 minutes, then when I'm setting the goal on how I can improve my reading, then I can set it in such a way that I'm going to read for 10 minutes, I'm going to go through my notes for 5 minutes, and then I'll read for another 10 minutes. And like that, I can be able to increase my reading. Now we go to the letter R. The letter R stands for relevant. The goals which we're setting have to be relevant, and relevant means it makes sense according to the stage in which we are in. It makes sense according to the environment in which we are in. So our goals should be relevant to where we are according to the most urgent need that we have in our spiritual life. So, for example, if I'm constantly eating non-prashad, then the most relevant goal for me would be how can I plan myself in such a way that I will always have access to prasad. And then finally, we come to the letter T. T stands for time bound. So time bound will be according to you. It depends also on the goal, because now we're talking about spiritual aspects. We're not talking about business. For business, it's very easy to put a time signature on it. But for something like chanting your rounds, if you've set a goal, you can also put it to be time bound. You can say that by 7, all my rounds should be finished. At least for my spiritual master, he advises that for all devotees, whether full time or not full time, by 7, your rounds should be finished and you'll have a very peaceful day. Also, Srila Prabhupada has advised that it is best to chant all your 16 rounds at a go. That way, the effect of your chanting stays with you during the day and you're protected. So that's an example of a time bound goal. Or even if you've decided that I only want to be eating prasad, then you can put for yourself you can set aside time for cooking or time for preparing your meals, maybe for the whole week or whatever it is. We have to make plans and execute them for us to move progressively in Krishna consciousness. So thank you, Ananda Vradhana Das, for that. That was a very nice point. So that's how we can make plans.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Na Prabhu. I had a question, Prabhu. I have a question. I'm going through the thing is the whole week from Monday to Friday we are attending like classes and being in Krishna consciousness, and it is so nice. I'm elevated, like it feels like I'm not elevated nothing, but it feels so good to be to be in
Yes.
this process and nice, like, but the suddenly weekends will come and then um like we kind of we are not associating with many people who are more materialistic or meat eating or any of those things, but still our own son and daughter-in-law will come or something like that, and they want to
Mm.
go out and do things different from my routine. which
Yes,
which
yes.
actually like it feels, for me it feels like I'm in the a nice, like the river is flowing in a nice way, but the weekends will come and it kind of shakes up the whole thing a little bit again to come back on Mondays, like to come
Mm.
back to this normal my routine, my meditative state of Krishna consciousness is little bit hard on Monday again. Why is
Yeah.
this happening, Prabhu? Why can't I have the stable mindset of going whether whatever is happening in my life?
So, if I've understood your question, you're saying that basically during the weekdays, you're in a controlled environment and you're associating with devotees. You have the ability to keep a peaceful stream of consciousness or a more Krishna conscious
Yes,
mindset.
Prabhu.
And
Yes,
then during the weekend, the whole atmosphere of enjoyment comes in, and it's like your consciousness is now turbulent.
yes,
Right.
yes, Prabhu. Exactly,
So,
exactly.
okay. So this turbulence is caused because, as you're saying that you have some duties. You have to take care of your child. You have to take them out or something like that. Correct?
No, Prabhu. My son is all grown up now, and
No.
he's also married. So
Okay.
the thing is, yeah, when they come, like
Family
when
members.
yes, yes, Prabhu, my family member. My normal days it is like I am completely, I can concentrate, but on the weekends I cannot concentrate on Krishna much, and that
Mm.
makes me feel bad, as well as like I cannot. The balance is gone a little bit, like imbalance I can feel, and then I struggle, like, oh my god, because of all the like, because when other people like my son and daughter-in-law, when they are also, they know Krishna consciousness, they follow few things, but they
Yeah.
want to go out or more materialistic, I can say, like they are young obviously, and they are
Yes.
also now only they are getting to know more
Yeah.
about these things, and So luckily, we never had meat or any of those things. We grew
Yes,
up in a
yes.
we born in Brahmin family, so those things doesn't. But these materialistic things going out, we should do this, we should do that, and when that pressure comes, I feel like more pressurized, and I feel like, oh my goodness, I can just sit at home and do
Yeah.
that's
Okay, I
where we
understand. Now I
yes.
understand. So, um, we find ourselves in these situations. We are in certain families. We have loved ones who we cannot necessarily block out, and we have some strings attached there. So, in as much as possible, if there's nothing which is directly, affecting you, if you're not breaking any regulative principles, if they're not forcing you to do things that you don't want, a little bit you can tolerate it. But the thing is, like for Raghunath Das Goswami, who's one of the Goswamis, and is actually the embodiment of renunciation. He was from a very rich aristocratic family, and he was the only son. So you can imagine, especially in Indian families, how the only son is treated. And now more so, he is the heir of a very rich son and a very rich, business. So naturally, the parents were trying to keep him. He was very attracted to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he kept trying to run away. But the prison, not the prison, but the guards, they kept taking him and bringing him back home. So eventually, by some good fortune, he managed to meet, and what he was told is go back, do your duties as usual, but in your heart, always keep Krishna there, always keep Lord Chaitanya there, always keep your bhakti first. Externally, do your duties as you should, but then in your heart, you keep Krishna there. It's also explained that in the Srimad Bhagavatam that uh, a lady who is unfaithful does her duties perfectly so that her husband does not suspect her of having another lover. So our lover is Krishna. That is our lover. For the general populace, their lover is sense gratification. So we do all of our, familial duties perfectly so that our bhakti is protected. No one can touch it. And also, it's good to exercise the power of no. Sometimes there's nothing wrong. It's not that every weekend you have to. We also have to practice the power of no sometimes, because if we've made a plan that this Sunday or this Saturday, I'd like to do some reading, or I'd like to go and associate with the devotees. In such a situation, you can say no, but of course, there's a way to say it in such a way that they will not feel bad or rejected. Because devotees, we don't want them to think that devotees are antisocial people. Now, another positive way to go about it is now you're the one to give them association, which means if there's no need to wait for them to come with the idea, before the weekend comes, tell them, this weekend I want us to do this. Why don't we try doing this together? You might like it, you might not like it, but let's try. You can try convincing them like this. If there's festivals, you bring them along like that. You can start giving them association in such a way that now they're the ones in a different environment and they're getting benefit, and it is not you in a passionate or ignorant environment where you have to fight the modes of nature, which is quite difficult. But the essence is you just have to continue practice service seriously, always keeping Krishna in your heart and always keeping him in the center of your mind. Even when you're out there, you'll still be able to remember him. So the mind should be engaged in Krishna consciousness. In the Bhagavad Gita, we always talk about this, the mind, using the mind, engaging the mind, because the mind is very powerful. So if you're using the mind appropriately in Krishna consciousness, for example, when we're taking darshan of the Lord, there's a system of taking darshan. One should start from the feet and go continuously upward till the face. Now, if someone is practicing this properly, eventually you can see the image of the Lord in your head. So now, for example, if you're out there with your family, and you see something you don't like, you can easily go to the image, to the murti of the Lord in your head. This is the power of the mind. So we also have a story of a Brahmana who was so poor, but he wanted to really serve Krishna. And he was advised by the devotees, you can do it in your mind. So what did he do? He sat down in meditation and he used very nice ingredients. He was using pure ghee. He was preparing for the Lord sweet rice. And he made everything so nicely in a very clean place. All of this is happening in his mind, but he was doing it with so much focus, so much love. And when the sweet rice was hot, he wanted to test, is this sweet rice hot? So he put his finger in the pot and it burnt him. And when Lord Vishnu saw this, he started laughing, and Lakshmi was asking him, why are you laughing? He said, oh, it's a devotee of mine, a very nice devotee of mine. So when the Brahmana woke up out of his meditation, or rather came back to external consciousness, his finger was physically burnt. So the essence is that devotional service can also be practiced in the mind. So the mind should be absorbed when we are seeing Krishna, when we are hearing kirtan, when we're doing our japa. This should also go into the mind. It should not just be done physically. In this way, even when we are in an ignorant environment, we still have that equilibrium. We still have Krishna in the temple of our heart. So try and practice this and try and give them association. Don't always allow to take the association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. They do come for few things, few times they do come for the temple and to Lekha Mataji is here today. She knows who they who my son and daughter-in-law. They came to her house too for kirtan and all. So
Nice.
I'm yes, Prabhu. They do come, but once in a while they do want to go out and enjoy that, which I kind of not really into anymore. And
Don't
so
worry.
that yes,
You'll,
Prabhu. But I will keep that in my mind. And Anandavardhana Das Prabhu also giving same instruction. So I will follow. I try to follow. I try to constantly keep Krishna in my heart and mind, so that I don't get this disturbance should not happen again. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
yeah, definitely. And also, Krishna is called Lord Hari. He is one who takes. So anything which will be not good for a devotional service, he'll see if you're sincere and he'll take it away. But similarly, we should understand that also difficulties or obstacles are put to make our devotional service stronger and to increase the quality of our devotional service. So if you are able to, even in those difficult, destructive moments, if you are able to still focus on Krishna, then you are that much more closer to being able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Because we should not forget, at the time of death, it is very painful. There's a lot of distractions. It is said that so many things go through the mind. All your past lives, everything you've been doing goes through your mind. And the pain of death is likened to the bite of 65,000 scorpions. So all of these are distractions. And when we're having distractions in our life and we're still trying to focus on Krishna, then we're practicing for how to leave the body. And that's the final test of a devotee. So you're also very lucky. You have an opportunity to practice.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol Prabhu. Yes.
Hare
Lot of practice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please can accept my humble obeisances or go to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this
Oh, good.
very enlightening class. It's like you're showing us a mirror. You're showing, not us, you're showing our heart a mirror, what is in the heart. All that you have said is there. Nobody can deny that. Some have it to some great extent, some have it little, but it's subtle. That's why we don't find it. Even the lust, the greed, the envy, everything is in our heart. At sometimes it just pop out, right? But also Mataji, I know I have been in similar situation, but now I know when you have only one child, and that only child is coming to you once in a while and telling you, let's go out, let's go out, let's go out. You cannot say no, because this is what happened to parents who have got only one child. We cannot say no. We always say yes. So what I do, I've learned to say no. You go with your husband or you go with your wife for today because I'm busy. I have classes. I cannot skip my class. So I say that, and they always ask me, we are going somewhere. Do you want to come? They don't force me. I say no. You go. But in some places, at some places like Friday we had kirtan, so they will go with me, and we will enjoy. Like we are organizing a retreat where it will be kirtan there, so they are going with me. But when they say we're going to theater or we're going here and there, I say no, thank you, and they don't force me. They understand where I stand because I have been here for a long time. They cannot force me. They don't force me. So for Mataji, she's new, right? Slowly, slowly, that will come. Sorry, no, thank you. I cannot go with you this time. Maybe another time. Today I have class at this time. I cannot miss my class. So this should be like this. I cannot miss my class. This is what I tell my children. No, I have class at this time. I cannot even have meals with you during the weekend at lunchtime because at that time I am in a class. So please go ahead, have your meal. I'll have my meal later. So that we put it very nicely, very gently in a way that we don't hurt them, and try to make them understand that you want to go to a restaurant. I'm sorry, I cannot eat at the restaurant because I don't know. It may say vegetarian available there. How are they cooking? What is their mindset while they are cooking? They are cooking for money. A mother cooks at home, it is all her heart for my child, for my husband, for my family. But at the restaurant, we are making it nice to get money. So what is the consciousness going in that food, and that's what we are going to eat? We don't know what kind of spatula they're using. They're mixing, or they're putting all kinds of ingredients in there. So no restaurant, right? So I'm not telling that like to scare people. In very, very rare and difficult situations, we can accept, but not like knowingly for pleasure we go and enjoy things there. No. And Gayatri Mataji knows wherever there is satsang, there is prayers, there is a class going on, I just text her, please join, please let's go here, please let's go there. She knows that. And I know she's in such a situation that she cannot say no because she's new, and the children also, they are not too much into it. So slowly, just pray to Krishna. Krishna will make the arrangement. That's for sure. Just pray to Krishna. He will make the arrangement. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your very nice class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Now, yeah,
that. Okay. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much for that beautiful discourse today. I know you were supposed to do also the Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 33 and 34, but yeah, I don't know. Just as we were doing the class today, Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji texted me and told me she will not be available tomorrow. And because she gives us class on every Tuesday, and she is held up somewhere out of town. That's what she told me. And since you have not, we
Okay.
still have
Yeah, Krishna's arranged.
to do the Srimad Bhagavatam. The questionnaire, maybe you could be available tomorrow. I'm sure maybe we have prepared something for that particular shloka, and then
Yes.
we can continue
Yeah, definitely.
on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Yeah, then we can continue on Wednesday. We start on a new chapter with His Grace Rukuma Prabhuji, and then I see Her Grace Induleka Mataji is here. I just want to make to request her on Thursday. She can kindly continue with the chapter 4.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you. Please, sorry. Can you let me know which verses I'm going to speak on? And then I'll prepare for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I will let you know by the end of today. Thank you. Otherwise, thank you so much for those great reflections and questions also. Really, for me, don't know what good fortune I have that I can listen to you really reflect
Right.
deeply
Okay.
on this
So
Krishna Kata.
I think I'll
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Who is doing
Hare
the
Krishna.
prayer? Bhakta Mugu Prabhu, who is doing the prayers?
Yes, kindly do. I think there's some problem with the internet. And kindly,
Oh, okay, okay.
please.
Please, everybody unmute and chant Hare Krishna 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha,
Sarvasya Kripatarubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Namaha.
Takoti
Grantaraj
Vaishnava,
Bhagavata ki jai.
Jai
Anant Koti Vaishnavin ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Darshi Prabhuji ki jai. Eldoret Yatra ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare
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 thank you so
Krishna.
much,
Thank you.
Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Gaura Night.
And Bhavini Mataji, you can kindly stop the recording. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.